We are having a discussion on tax reform. Our very special guests are Dr. Carlos Silvani, a tax consultant attached with the Inter-American Development Bank, Roselle Moxie, Vice President of Sunshine Holdings, and the Senior Vice President of CFAL, Kevin Burrows, who focuses on international investments and research. Roselle Moxie, just tell us, what is your background in law or finance?
It's a bit of both. I am trained as an attorney. I also have a master's in accounting, and my professional experience is commercial law as well as commercial banking and business for the last several years.
We note from the Progressive Liberal Party's charter for governance, Vision 2030, on page 59, that there is note of a review of the tax system, and it says this is critical because the tax system is not progressive. That is, persons who have most do not necessarily contribute most. You spoke to that earlier, yes, Kevin Burrows, the fact that we have a regressive tax system. Also, it was mentioned in the Charter for Governance that the review of the tax system is critical because the tax system now is too narrow. That is, generally only taxing goods, but not services. Also, our present tax system is becoming increasingly more difficult and expensive to administer. And fourthly, our tax system as it is now is not sufficient to meet the financial needs of 21st century governance. And so Roselle Moxie, thus the symposium, to look at the options that we have presented to us.
Yes, while we accept the realities that we have to make the shift within. So for example, topics also to be addressed at the symposium includes how do we reform our tax system and ensure that we do not negatively impact our financial services industry or our tourism industry? How do we reform tax while ensuring, how does the Hawkesbury Creek Agreement fit into any system of tax reform? How do we modernize family islands? You know, we have similar economies around us in the Caribbean, but a major difference between us and, for example, a country like Barbados is that we are an archipelago. So when we move to any new system of taxation, how do we ensure that family island administrators can participate equally as persons on New Providence? And that they have the technology and resources available to fit properly into any new tax system. So yes, the symposium is quite comprehensive and it addresses the need for reform while we confront the realities within which we must reform. Setting out the options for reform. We've spoken heavily about VAT this morning, but also income tax, and we've highlighted that really one option is a bundling of all these different versions of taxations, and then evaluating those options, allowing us to make an ultimate decision as the private sector.
Dr. Carlos Silvani, you say no to income tax for the Bahamas, don't you?
No, I think, well, again, this is important to make it clear at this point. This is my personal opinion, nothing to do with the IDB or any other international organization. My guess is that, first of all, you cannot introduce so many reform at once. I think it's better to do it little by little. My sense is that probably at this point in time, the income tax or try to introduce an income tax, individual and personal, is not the best time. I think probably a very good tax handle for, considering equity reasons, is the property tax. Property tax is an excellent tax handle because, and it's also to be adjusted because.
Well, it's not just.
Well,
That's not fair. Not everybody. You're talking about real property tax, land, and real estate.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That needs to be adjusted.
Oh.
It's not just, but it needs to be adjusted.
Okay. Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So this is the reason I'm saying yes. Equity can be tackled going that road. That is, I feel is easier. It's more practical at this stage.
Let's
but
at
of
this
course-
stage. Go ahead, sir.
No, I can give you examples of how the income tax has been losing grounds in the world. All the rates have been reduced, and we are in a world that more and more important are the consumption taxes rather than the income taxes. It's a general trend.
Let's open up the lines at this stage. 323-8160, 323-6232. You can call us. Our very special guest, Dr. Carlos Silvani, a tax consultant attached to the IDB, the Inter-American Development Bank. Kevin Burrows, Senior Vice President of CFAL, with emphasis on international investments and research, is here, and the Vice President of Sunshine Holdings, Roselle Moxie. Roselle, you wanted to say something?
I just wanted to add, Dr. Silvani mentioned real property tax, and most of us would be aware that the government is now currently owed some $400 million in back taxes with respect to real property tax that's been unpaid. And I just wanted to highlight again the tremendous resource that we have in Dr. Silvani as one of our 15 speakers, because in his life prior to being a consultant for the IDB, the World Bank, and the IMF, Dr. Silvani was responsible for the collection of domestic taxes in Argentina, where his department was responsible for collecting US $80 billion a year. So what a tremendous resource to have to speak to how do we address the real challenges of revenue leakage that we know exists in our current tax system.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hello, you're on Darold Miller Live.